Welcome everybody to another edition of Real Talk here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas. This is Bo Gill.
Yes, hello.
Sitting across from me, we're going to dive into the news of the day, which is the big beautiful bill.
Beautiful, big beautiful, a big beautiful bill. It is going
It's
to
big. Let's just call it that.
and it's going to be it's here.
Well,
It's
the
been
president's
approved.
going to sign it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Before we dive into this, let's take a break and hear from our sponsors, Norris Plumbing. For all your plumbing needs, contact Norris's, and they will take care of whatever you need, even if it's in the middle of the night with a broken pipe.
24 hours
out and fix
service.
it up. Let's hear from them, and we'll be right back.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing. Call us at 931-703-5915.
All righty, welcome back in here to Real Talk. Bo, did you catch any of the hoopla this morning as Hakeem Jeffries was standing up and rambling for 8 hours?
Yeah, I saw little snippets here and there of it. It was just, expected hoopla.
Stupid. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat or independent that does something like that. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's very well put, and it wasn't. It's exactly what I expect from people like that.
I'm going to read just a little overview. It's a couple sentences of what the Big Beautiful Bill Act is all about. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act is a comprehensive legislative package extending and expanding the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, enhancing border security, reforming Medicaid and SNAP, and introducing economic and social policies. Now, nobody really knows what it is because they hadn't had time to read it. They roll this out like this, they bundle it all together, and there's no telling what kind of garbage is inside of this thing.
That's right. And I mean, we will talk about highlights that we've been provided that we found on our own. But look, we're just as in the dark as everybody else. I mean, these things are some of the big ones, but who knows what's been in there. But, one of the things that I do see that stands out is a sentiment or our security and the ICE, how much they're giving to ICE, to the border protection, to the wall. And what is that? Well, that is a fruition of the past administrations, the past things that we've let happen to America for all the immigration, the illegal immigration to happen. Now we're having to spend all this money, or we don't. It's either one way, but we're going to, on top of still waste that we were hoping that was going to get cut.
And it's like this, and I think that if you go back and you listen to the campaign, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, there are several people out campaigning for Donald Trump that was talking about ending the never-ending wars, and he said it himself. We got to get out of the never-ending wars. My eyes on Ukraine and Russia. Today, he talked to Putin on the phone. They got nowhere. Ukraine, we're giving Ukraine stuff constantly. It's costing us a killing, and it's depleting our military supply. But there's a couple of things. The Patriot missile batteries that they were wanting, we scaled that back, and we scaled something else back yesterday. Just a little bit, and I think in the hopes of getting Zelensky to come to the negotiating table. Now, depending on who you listen to, there's some people that say Ukraine is winning this war, but for some reason that border on the east side of Ukraine keeps going further west every time I look at it.
And all it would take was one bad day for the Russians to just totally mollywop them, if I may say. And look, they might have cut back on what they're giving, but they need to just draw a line and be done with it, because I get it. Sometimes maybe some temporary relief may be needed internationally, but we're bleeding from within. And we've got to keep this border and this ICE. These though, I hope, are temporary investments that we don't. A lot of these, like housing for illegal immigration. I mean, it's billions and billions of dollars. I'm glad that they're doing that, but yet again, it's with
I'm glad.
I'm glad. I'm not glad.
You're glad they're getting rid of it.
I'm not glad we're having to do it, but I'm glad that we're dealing with it now, and that
Yeah.
instead of ignoring the problem. And I think that this is money that'll be invested in, and maybe in the future we won't have to use it because we'll have a stronger immigration policy to the south and the north, and also we'll have that wall with 700 miles of that wall.
Speaking about immigration policy, we have a law that's been on the books. We've had immigration laws since we've been a country.
Yes.
Unfortunately, nobody's enforced those
It's
laws.
the enforcement of the policy. You're exactly right, and I said policy, but it is the
But
enforcement of the policy.
but that policy is set by the president or the administration, and that policy a lot of times is, well, we're just not going to enforce the law.
That's right.
Okay, so Trump's policy is we're going to enforce the law,
That's right.
and we're going to beef up security, and we're going to actually become a country
Right.
again.
And with the law that they are providing in the existing ones, there still be those that decide to try to come over, illegally. And that's when our enforcement has to be strong on each and every individual. Where you want to come, that's fine, because hey, immigration is just a part of life. We like to have people coming in and out, but lawfully, right?
Yeah.
We want to know who's in and out.
Going back several years, since 2001 on 9/11, we have spent more money on protecting other countries' borders than we've protected our own.
Yes, and
And out of that, the Patriot Act was spawned so that they could spy on us to make sure that we're not terrorists. But yet, leave the open borders.
that's right.
It doesn't even make any sense.
Leave the open borders, spy on your own citizens, and you don't know who else is in here. Sounds like a good idea.
It seems like you don't have a country. You just have a place, a piece of land, great big old piece of land.
You don't have a country if you don't have borders.
You got two coasts, a northern border and a southern border, and none of them protected.
You know, when I go to, you're exactly right. When I go to other countries, I expect to be vetted. I expect to be checked. If I go anywhere, I expect that, and I will be.
Yeah.
I don't know why we should expect anything less here. We should have probably the toughest
Yes,
entry
absolutely.
requirements here. And I think we do, but our
we're the
enforcement-
crown jewels.
That's right.
We should protect it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, so you got just 2 or 3 things here. I'm going to run through. Actually, 5 things. Tax relief, of course. We're going to continue to have our tax cuts that Trump put into place back in 2017. There's going to be a few. The tax on tips. You can earn up to $25,000 in tips without reporting. Overtime pay up to $12,500. In car loan interest, it's going to be deductible. Yeah. All right, child tax credit increases to $2,200 to $2,500, benefiting about 40 million families. Okay, then you got a standard deduction, double deduction, adds $4,000 bonus for seniors on your deductions. SALT deduction, it raises up to $40,000, raises cap to $40,000, aiding high tax state residents. All right, then you've got economic growth potential by Section 199A deduction to 23%. That's supposed to create more jobs.
Yes.
Restores 100% immediate expensing for equipment and research and development, boosting GDP by 0.8%. What that means is businesses can write off immediately expenses for equipment. So if I wanted to buy a new piece of equipment starting, I guess, July 5th,
yes, yeah,
then I'm going to be able to deduct it on
deduct it and
right
be able,
then. Instead of having to depreciate that, you can deduct it.
Right, and use that capital to invest in your business or products. That's right.
Okay. The border security, $121.5 billion for border wall to be completed, detention and enforcement to deport 1 million undocumented immigrants annually.
Yes, that's an annual, and I don't know how they're going to,
they're going after criminals.
They are. Well, I know that they're going after criminals, but I don't know where this is, because right now they're dependent on counties and to store or to house these inmates, and they're running into
Did
the
you
problems.
say where Trump was yesterday?
Yes, the alligator farm.
Alligator
Alcatraz. That's right.
Is that what they call it?
That's what they called it, and that's something that the governor.
Did you see the videos of it?
Oh yes, it's something else, and him and the governor DeSantis, they're back in love again. So he'll be back with Elon before you know it. But they're just.
I think Elon's burned his bridges.
Well, we'll see.
Right,
To be continued.
The border security, and then other reform is Medicaid and SNAP. Okay, work requirements are going to be in place to get Medicaid for people that are able to work. Now, if you're an elderly person or somebody that's just legitimately disabled,
right?
Okay, you can stay on Medicaid and SNAP. Okay,
yes.
The SNAP, of course, is the food stamp thing. It's going to save $1.6 trillion over a 10-year period, they say.
I mean, they say, and that's one of those that I think hits home with a lot of people. They is the people that are going to bring the coffee houses to Shelbyville. You know, the government. Yeah, so you go to the city meetings, you just say, hey, we want a coffee house, and they say, we'll talk about it. No, I'm totally lying. They is you, me, and everybody else involved, because it's a private individual.
It's they say, but I never have been able to say who they are.
I don't know.
But it was they say.
They do. They do. They say it may rain later on.
Rural support, $50 billion for rural hospitals.
Yeah.
$10 billion in farm tax cuts.
That's good. I'm glad that there's some, the farmers already lose money pretty much. It's a hard life farming, but I like to see that, and I wonder if that'll affect here in Bedford County the rural hospital deal, if we'll be able to get some of that funding there.
And one other thing, it removes firearm silencer taxes, Bo.
Oh, well, I can definitely bundle up on my firearms.
So then, Golden Dome missile defense,
yeah,
and military modernization,
yes.
And also it has a $1,000 newborn investment account.
Yeah,
it's called the Trump account.
The Trump account. The baby will always love Trump.
I'm totally against this. If the U.S. government is just going to hand out money, it's no different than any of these other programs. All right. I get that newborns should have savings. That's what their mamas and daddies are for.
That's exactly right.
I don't think that's good. But anyway.
Well, it's going to happen, and the newborns will love Trump to the day they die.
So what are the repercussions, though?
Well, the repercussions are things will be more, it looks like we're going to not have a balanced budget.
Oh, that's never going to happen.
I know. Well, I was hoping, it
ain't happening. We voted for that.
The repercussions are going to be, we're going to have a stronger military. I believe we'll have a stronger military than we've ever had
to protect our country.
To protect our country.
That's assuming we have a country.
Well, we do right now. So
we do today.
I do like. I hate that we have to spend the money on the ICE enforcement and all that stuff. But right now, due to they in the past, we're having to clean up that mess. But I'm glad that we're finally looking at that problem and trying to take care of it. I know that we are. But look, there's still all this international waste on these forever wars.
That's it. That's the one thing right there, Bo. I think if we scale that back, and Trump can actually scale that back, this makes more sense. But if we're going to keep on being warmongers, I think the bombs that he dropped in Iran was a start to the end. But there's so many warmongers around him pressuring him.
Yes.
Benjamin Netanyahu, he wants to fight.
Yes.
Lindsey Graham, he wants to keep fighting. Tom Cotton, all these people that they're getting funded by AIPAC.
Yeah.
Israel's sending them money because they want to keep fighting.
Oh yes.
That their government does. I don't think their people like the war.
No, they don't. And the ones closer to the war itself, like Netanyahu's got a better excuse to be upset than people like the senators here that just want to spend money.
If somebody comes across and they're always terrorized, and I think you deal with them. But like what's going on now in Gaza is genocide. They've gone overboard. All right, but you just look back at the wars we've been in. If we just stop that, and if we stop sending all this money to Ukraine, I promise you, they're embezzling money, and some of it's coming back into United States senators and House of Representative members' pockets. If they tracked it, there'd be people in jail.
Yes.
But they're not going to because they're afraid.
That's exactly right. And it's going to these nefarious organizations, these people that we don't know where it's going, these other countries. And until we get a lock on that and we can somehow minimize spending or just quit it, I mean, we won't have a balanced budget. I think if we could, I mean, do you believe that if we could stop giving so much money to this war aid, these warmongers, that we can have a chance of having a balanced budget?
That plus all the frivolous other scams that are going on. Every House of Representatives member has a scam going on, except for maybe a handful. Every senator has a scam going on, except for maybe a couple. They've got their own foundations, their own pet projects, these lobbyists have bought them out. They don't care about the American people, Bo.
Yeah, I know it. In the average
That's
daily,
why we're going broke.
Yeah.
They don't care about us as long as their bread's buttered and they got their underground bunkers to run to when the nuclear nukes start flying, if they ever do. They're protected. It's me and you. We're gonna have to fight for ourselves.
Well, you know, one day that'll hopefully there'll be representatives that are just good people that want to just represent and go back to work and quit worrying about their self-interest.
Until the place is gutted, until there are repercussions that the people of this country put on those. Quit playing politics.
Yeah,
the two-party system is a disaster.
Yes, it is. It
has polarized this country. As Americans, we need to look at our representative. I don't care if it's got an R or a D or an I, and tell them straighten up, or you're going to be removed. And we've got to have some legal mechanism to just toss them out.
I wish it was back to the old days where it was just citizen so and so running. It wasn't Republican or Democrat. We're just citizens running against each other. But instead, we've got all these parties in the way that just muddy the water.
After seeing the last two elections, Bo, national elections, or the last 3 or 4, do you trust the election process to where the American people can actually get rid of some of these thugs?
Well, I've, of course, like you and most people, the 2020 election really put that question, and it really, I was not very confident. I was in our area, but as far as nationally, no. After this election, I would say it's raised a little bit, maybe 75%. This is nationally. I still think where I live, it's it's on the up. They're doing a great job, but I think that there's still on some local levels in other states some kind of funny business.
Here's what,
and that's
if you go back to the 2020 election, there were more people that voted in the presidential election than were registered voters in the whole country. And Tennessee is one of the states where it was done. Every state had more people voting than they had registered voters, because if you add up, it was like, I think Trump had like 76 million.
Yes, I remember.
And Biden had 82 million. And let's see, that's 158 million. And we only have like 130 million registered voters and 158 million. You telling me who was that vote?
Yeah, that math.
That was a scam. And that's assuming if you had every single person that's a registered
voter.
Voter.
Right. That's exactly right.
That's
a happy assumption.
That's a 50 to 60% would be a high turnout.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, this last election was a scam.
Oh, look, wherever there's competition, there's going to be fraud happening, and you better believe it's happening. They're getting more sophisticated in their ways. And so I'll never trust it fully, but I really hope that they are transparent on what they do. And anybody that's seeing something, they say something and get that crap out of here. Because I'm seeing it, and I'm saying something. Yep. Well,
all right, but you go back to this year's election.
But
you go to this year's election. If you take the numbers of popular vote and you add them up, it's going to come out to where we had a 90% turnout rate. If you go look county by county, you're going to see some 50s and 60s, and that's being a great turnout rate.
Oh, yeah.
Then how did we go nationally 90%?
Yeah, no.
It's impossible.
I just don't I don't understand.
That's a scam. Our elections are a scam.
Well, I would hate to think that there is a scam as they were like in these awful dictator countries, but there's something that's not adding up. When the math don't add up, there's something.
And try to beat an incumbent that has the machine behind it.
Oh, good
it's
luck.
Impossible.
I mean, there would be.
Okay, so
it's happened before, but it's been they've stood on very divisive topics and things like that.
All right,
but you're right.
Let's look at the cons now on some of this. Regressive tax benefits, social safety net cuts, Medicaid and SNAP. We already talked about. Some people are up in arms about that. I happen to not be. I mean, if they cut the right people, the people that are abusing the system, the fraud and abuse needs to go away. And I agree with that. That's what Trump ran on, and that's the reason Doge and Elon Musk came in and did
better
that.
Believe it.
And let's don't talk about him right now. But, I mean, right now he's the devil, according to some people. All right, clean energy repeal. It's going to eliminate $522 billion in credits for all this Green New Deal junk.
Thank goodness.
You get tax credits for buying EVs. And putting up solar panels and doing wind, and they're giving a bunch of companies, they're selecting companies to fund with these grants and all these benefits and all these credits that they're getting back.
Be green.
And that's a scam. Look at the one that Obama funded up to $122 billion Solari or something. So
Yeah.
I can't even remember the name of the company.
It's
That was a scam. They were bankrupt and they kept throwing money to them.
Yeah.
Where did that money go?
yeah, global warming, and it happened to
All
turn into climate change. Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
climate
So you
change.
got all that with this clean energy stuff. Then you got public safety and immigration. You've got mass deportation plans. It's being criticized by the left. Benefit cuts may increase poverty and undermine safety. I do agree that if we cut the wrong people, it could hurt some people, but I'm going to trust that they cut the right people
I
and
hope
find
so.
the fraud. Okay, political and economic issues. 53% have public they're opposed to this bill.
Mhm.
I'd say the number's higher than that, but that's the polls.
Yeah, it's-
The polls
yeah.
are going to say what the polls are
Yeah.
going to say. GOP infighting and Senate procedural issues. Well, I think we saw this has been in place for a long time.
Yes.
Republicans will voice their opinion when they have a strong feeling. The Democrats, the left, seem to be a mindless group of sheep
Oh, they are. They are.
led by a narrative
You're exactly right.
of socialism.
No independent thought there.
No thought.
But we
at
had
all.
2 Republicans vote for this. Let's remember.
Didn't vote for it.
They didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
they
two
didn't
that
vote
voted
for it.
against
yes, Yes.
All right. Modest GDP growth. Okay. Tariffs may raise prices by $2,800 per year per family. And speaking of the tariffs,
Tariff talk.
the latest tariff is Vietnam. We've got a baseline tariff of 10% that's going to raise to 20%. And if they have any products coming in from other countries that have a higher tariff rate, those tariffs go up to 40% if they're shipped to the United
Wow.
States. Again, these countries are not paying the tariffs, Bo.
No,
We will be paying the tariffs.
And Nike does. You say does.
They do a lot of business with Vietnam, so they're going to have to go to others. But you don't know till July the 9th.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, are these tariffs going to be locked into place? And they just make a phone call or send a letter to the country and say, we're going to tariff your products to our businesses 30%, 25%, 40%. You go back to that list on Liberation Day
Mm-hmm.
and look at those numbers, and if that's what goes forth, we're going to have inflation like this country's never seen, Bo.
Yeah, it's just I'm not looking forward to that. But is a chance that he might, due to the conflict in the Middle East, and maybe he can push that back another 90 days. Maybe
The tariffs undermine any growth that you're going to have.
100%. Because
All right.
let's get it out of our mind. The China. Let's talk. If China's the example, they're not paying the tariff. We are paying the tariff, right?
Yes, I am paying the tariff.
You are.
Bo, and
You
then
showed me your
somebody
tariff
else.
prices,
Yeah.
and I've seen the increases.
All right, so
And, yes.
I've got that.
The
thing laying
letters.
over there.
I mean, this
It
has been
happens
happening
every day. Every day, we're getting price increases
since
We
April.
go,
This has been happening just about.
Well, about the third week of May.
Yeah.
Really. I mean,
And we've talked about. I mean, we've been really transparent about the whole time. I mean,
Yeah,
we brought out parts and everything to explain.
I've got an order coming from India right now, and it's supposed to be in July 15th. And I'm sitting here praying that he kicks the can down the road. And we only have to pay a 10% tariff because the India tariffs that they're talking about is going to be 25 to 30%. That's going to take the price of that product from $800 probably to $1,300.
And that's putting that's how you.
That's
explain
retail
yeah.
price.
And that's
Okay.
not going to happen. That's
No,
not going to work.
that inflation right there, this country can't stand.
Well, I hope that we haven't heard any news really out of the India deal. But if that,
They're in the Washington D.C. begging for a deal right now.
well, I hope we can say no tariffs, everything.
No,
It ain't gonna
there's not. No, there's going to be a tariff about like China.
I get ready for it, folks.
I think it's going to be around 20%. I think it's going to be 20% on top of what they currently have. So
There's also interested in that bill. They're giving $2 billion for the FIFA and I guess the World Cup, which I don't think's in the United States, and then the Olympics too. I guess that's just
to study for their what?
Yeah,
You were telling me about that.
to study for the security measures that need to be
$2 billion.
taken. $2 billion for a study of
Let
security.
me tell you something. We could get Brian Cruz to sit down with a piece of paper
Oh.
and study it and figure out how to handle
He would
that.
do it for probably $5,000, probably.
He would do it for less than
He'd do it for
20. How much? $2 billion?
$2 billion. I mean, Brian, you could charge $1 billion. I mean,
Yeah, $1 billion. Give him a price of 50% discount. But it's ridiculous.
no, that's exactly
That's a
right.
scam.
It is a scam. $2 billion just
Man,
plan.
with AI would put a security plan in place in 30 seconds.
That's probably what's going to happen.
And
check,
then they're going to
please.
charge.
They charge $2 billion, and then they type it in AI.
This report that I got, scrub the whitehouse.org. I'm going to give you the sources for all this information, by the way. Whitehouse.gov, the Congressional Budget Office, Penn Wharton Budget Model, Penn Wharton College,
Right.
And
Very good
Quinnipiac
source.
University,
Yes. Good sources there.
Reuters, Forbes, and The Hill.
Yeah.
These are all places where they've dug into it, and that's where all this came from.
Yes.
All right, so AI did this in about 30 seconds, and
Yes.
it would have taken me 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know it, and you could have charged $1 million for it. I mean, AI does a lot, but let me say, AI, and I do use it from time to time. I always check up on it. I mean, it is a robot.
If you
going
ask
there.
for those sources and it puts it down there, that's
Sure,
where they
yeah,
got it.
It does. It's a pretty neat little trick. It's almost scary.
It is scary. It
Yeah.
is scary. All right, so Bo, your bottom line thought on the tariffs, not the tariffs.
The
We're going to do
BBB.
that second. The big, beautiful Bill Act.
My bottom line is I'm glad that we're beefing up military. I'm glad that we're having to that we're taking care of problems that we've had to take care of. I am really happy. I feel that we've needed a lot of these things to be the number one in this world and be to strengthen us here. I don't like that that we're still sending a lot of money overseas. That's the part that I don't like. I think there's a lot of waste in there still. That the Democrats aren't saying much. That means they're happy. They're getting a lot. So so
outside of Hakeem's little tantrum here.
which Yeah.
But there's so much stuff in there. I'm sure we're still paying $20,000 for hammers. I'm sure if we're paying $2,000 for a security plan, I'm sure we're paying enormous scam prices.
It is,
on lots of
and they
stuff.
could be going cheaper, but y'all approved $2 billion, so we're
So
going to take it
bottom
all.
line, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'll give it a halfway thumbs
All
up
right,
there.
all
I'll
right.
go halfway.
All right, my take is on it. I'm with you. I'm like the border security situation. I like the fraud and abuse elimination. I like the tax cut extension.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The things I don't like about it is the debt ceiling of $5 trillion goes through bundled with this. That means that the credit card limit went up $5 trillion.
It's a
I
conservative.
don't like the fact that it's going to increase our debt by another $4 trillion in a course of 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
And I don't like the fact that nobody is talking about cutting spending in places.
well, they talk
Except
about it, but they're not doing it.
Well, what they've cut, they've added 10 times the amount somewhere else.
You had two
So-
Republican lawmakers put their money where their mouth is. One of them from Pennsylvania, one of them from Kentucky.
Yeah, they
And-
both
and
they
they
both
both-
voted no, and it's okay to vote no because the $5 trillion debt ceiling limit it's a scam. They can just keep printing money and spending it
Yes.
like drunk sailors.
Yes.
All right, so I'm like 1/3 from
Okay.
being
Okay. So I'm just right above you.
yeah. I'm just a notch right below you
Okay,
with
yeah.
almost a little
Yeah.
toward the
I can
downside,
respect that.
but there's some good things in it.
Yeah, there
That's the
is.
thing, and that's the way Washington works. They put these good things in it, but then it's a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
You put 3 good things in it and have 12 bad things, and if you vote against it, you're you're against the good things.
I know that's starting
That
to
sounds
happen.
just like our county
Yeah,
commission,
that's
what they did.
that's
on that
happening
bad
here.
bundling thing.
Well, they learned that that's the way to get stuff that not everybody likes through
Yeah.
is to attack children with it, or schools,
yeah,
or
you
animals.
don't. Yeah, exactly.
And you're against the animals. How dare
That's
you?
right, and that's the way they
They
you
like
know,
to play the game.
hey,
That's the political game.
The president twisted some arms yesterday afternoon in his office,
Oh yeah.
and some of them caved in, but all he's thinking about is this tax cut,
Well,
and that's
you're
what
right.
he's thinking
But
about.
I guarantee you, if maybe, and he'll never admit it, but he respects those 2 Republicans.
I bet he and Thomas Massey get back together.
I bet you they
before the
do. He
election.
respects that. He
Yeah.
respects that. I respect that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that took
I
some
mean, he's
guts.
like, and then Rand Paul in the Senate Y'all, he said, "Hey, the $5 trillion debt limit needs to go away," and everybody's standing there looking like, "What are you talking about?
And they could,
We've got to have that."
yeah, no, they
No, we
could
can't get our scam money out.
exactly. They could have taken care of that with a lot of the over the seas
They
money.
would have had to got too serious about cutting spending, and that's not going to happen in Washington D.C.
No, they have temper tantrums when that happens.
Yeah. Well, Bo, what else you got? Anything?
I don't have anything.
All right,
It's
well,
just, hey, happy 4th of July.
Yeah, happy
Hope you
Independence
have
Day
fun.
tomorrow
Yeah.
at the Shelbyville Park Complex.
That's right.
About a little before dark.
A little
People
before.
are going to start flying in there.
Mhm.
Going to have a fireworks display that
Oh,
our
yeah.
tax money paid for.
That's right. The county and the city government.
They went together on it. They
That's
didn't
right.
do it. They didn't meet in a room and do it.
No,
They just both mailed a check in.
Well, that's okay. That's a start.
All right, Bo. We'll be back again probably on Monday.
Yeah.
Have
that's
a
right.
good 4th of
Yeah,
July.
happy
You
4th.
guys have a good 4th of July. Thank you for Norris Plumbing for
Yes.
sponsoring our show.
For sure.
And we'll be back again unless we have some breaking news.